Works Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. Works Power and Garden Tools. CVA muzzle loaders. It's just a better gun. Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings. True Turn Hooks, hook more fish. Furminator, the best food plot implements on earth. Roadrunner Lures, Roadrunner equals more fish. Arctic Ice, the most durable and versatile cooler packs. Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, state parks, and historic sites.
Good morning, boys and girls. This is O'Neill from Three Falls Cabin in the Bojangles studio high in the mountains of North Georgia. Welcome to Works Radio. We've got a lot of things to handle this morning. We hope you'll join us. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta, Georgia area and 800-972-8255 worldwide. And I'm here to tell you we have the radio prize package, the Medal of Honor tribute, the Who Is This episode brought to you, and all of your calls, which make the show. It's my pleasure to invite you to watch O'Neill Outside Television, Fox Sports Radio, Fox Sports television networks all over the country, and VOD networks like Waypoint, Carbon TV, Gone TV, Outdoor Action TV, Prime, and you name it. YouTube, O'NeillOutside.com. They're everywhere. What can I tell you? So welcome to the program, and I'm here to tell you this program is brought to you by, of course, Works Tools, Stripling's General Store, Snellville Heating and Air, the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, True Turn Hooks, and Roadrunner Lures, Fisher's Choice Baits, Gin Spring, Generators, Tough Shed Storage Buildings, Big Green Egg, Mark Hurd Fuel, Beaver Toyota, All Exterminating, and Arctic Ice Pack. So there you are. We hope you'll stick around for 2 hours. We have some fishing suggestions, and we're here to take your calls, your criticism, your advice, your tips that you might want to pass along to other fishermen. After all, fishing is not a contest. There are tournaments, but it makes up a tiny portion of the fishermen. Fishing is the number one outdoor sports activity among men in the world, and we're here to talk about it today, right out of the mountains of North Georgia, and we hope indeed that you will join us. We have a lot of things to do. Here's the topic that we will begin the show. The 6 rods you have to have rigged in your boat when you're fishing today. Ooh. Stay right there. We'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. This is O'Neill. Side note here, I love this sort of thing, and I don't know if I'm correct or not. Most of the time, I don't even care. But the song that you just heard on a radio show, that being Crazy, was written by Willie Nelson, and I am told that he sold the rights to that song for $15. Maybe he was on something. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, welcome back to the program, everyone. We're talking fishing and hunting for the next a couple of hours. If you'd like to call, it's 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255 outside the Atlanta calling area. Now, let's talk about the following. I know, because I've been doing this for a while, I've been privileged to fish with several professional fishermen and people who thought they were or could have been or were good enough as. And I noted on several occasions, and if you ever watch any of these bass tournaments on television and you take notice, that the fisherman usually has 4 to 6 or maybe 8 rods rigged on both sides of him in the front of the boat. You should follow that example and have rods rigged all the time, not just for bass fishing, just to make the most of your day. I will tell you this, it's not, to me and to a lot of people, it's okay. You don't have to catch a limit to make the day worthwhile. You can just go fishing. And that's good too. You don't have to catch anything. But if you want to catch the most and have the most fish available to be on the end of your line and get to the boat and release or take home for dinner, then have these 6 rods rigged. Not necessarily in this order of importance. You want one rod to be rigged with a casting device. I mean, a long term, a bucktail jig, a spoon, a mini mac, a Hopkins spoon, something to cast a great distance, so that if stripers or hybrids or even largemouth come up to the surface on a feed close to your boat, you can reach them. It's a crime if you, oh, there they are. Just a minute, let's put on a spoon. No, you're too late, okay? So that's one. You need 2 color different worms rigged. A dark color and a light color. 2 different worms rigged. One for deep water, maybe even a Carolina rig, and one for casting to the surface or shallow water. Got to be ready. You need a stick bait. So if you're using a spinnerbait and you feel the bump and you miss him, or you're using a buzz bait and I'm not making one of those as the specials, but if you're using a buzz bait later in the summer and he misses it, swirls at it, just drop the rod and throw a worm back into that circle on the surface, or a stick bait to that on the surface, and you'll get bit almost every time. I learned that from Rick Clunn. I fished with him once, and he had a worm ready, so if he missed the buzz bait, he threw right back in there, and he caught him almost every time. Okay, your spinner bait that you've tied on, that's one of those rods, has to have a trailer hook. Now, if you're fishing in brushy conditions, and that's your primary bait, the trailer hook should be up. If it's conditions that are like a wide open spawning area, then have the trailer hook turned down. I learned that in a tournament I was in Clark's Hill Reservoir 35 years ago. I had practiced. I was in the lead of the association, the regional association, and I was in the lead. I thought I was going to win, and I ended up winning. But when I drew the partner that day, who was a local guy, he said, "Hey, where have you got them located?" I said, "I've got them located on a couple of spawning flats." Oh, he said, "I know exactly where those are. And I fished it before. Man, we're in good shape." He's in the back of the boat. I'm in the front of the boat. I finished 11th, and he finished 3rd. It took me till almost noon to find out that his trailer hook was turned down. He didn't miss as many fish as I did, so turn the trailer hook down. I have heard that long cast with that mini mac, that bucktail jig, put a treble hook as a trailer on those single hook baits. Now, suggestions like this do not necessarily mean that you're going to catch 50 that day instead of 2, but it might catch 1 more or 2 more or 3 more, or if you're in a tournament, in a tournament, one fish can move you up 20 places. All right, what else? Spinnerbait, trailer hook, 2 worms, that's enough. But have them ready, rigged, fresh knots, fresh line, reels properly lubricated. See, that's the difference between a fisherman and just an ordinary guy. Now, this is not for ponds. This is for reservoirs from Texas to Nebraska to Virginia to South Florida. Big reservoirs that have stripers and hybrids and largemouth and spots and so on and so on. Shallow water, deep water. There you are. Okay, let's talk to Don. Don is calling from, just to get surprised here. Where is Don calling from this morning?
Ocean Isle, North Carolina.
You're the greatest, man.
Hey, Captain, how you doing this
I'm
morning?
doing fine. How about you? I hadn't heard from you in a couple of weeks. You been okay?
Yeah, I've been a little slow over here, but it's beginning to pick up.
Good.
You know, talking about that, keeping one rod rig for specific fish.
Yes.
We always had a heavy rod with a large shrimp on it.
Uh-huh.
And when even if you're bottom fishing, you get out in the deeper water, and if a cobia comes by, they can't stand that shrimp.
Oh, boy.
But if you get that shrimp on, if you get that cobia on, you better be ready to fight for a while. You got to have a heavy rod.
I was in Florida one time. I hate to try to top any stories, which I won't, but I was in Florida off the Gulf Coast one time, and we were quitting. I was tidying up my tackle. We were leaving. I had one rod still rigged, and a 70-pound cobia swam by, and I caught that fish.
Well, you didn't go in for a while.
That's exactly right.
You were busy.
You bet. 70 pounds.
If I get a call, tell them I'm busy.
That's right.
You're going to be. Ross found that out over here.
Yeah.
He got about a 40-pound cobia on.
Mm-hmm.
And he had never caught a fish. Even in Alaska, he had never caught a fish that fought that
hard. He's a monster.
And then when we got him in and cooked him, he wanted to catch all the cobia.
Oh, yeah. What's the limit? What's the limit? 1 or 2?
I think it's 1 per person.
Yeah, one per person.
It was, and they've changed a lot of it this year.
Yeah, they're special. They are special.
The water temperature is coming up a little bit, and we got a bunch of gray trout, which normally we don't see over here.
Uh-huh.
But they're here, and the limit on a gray trout is very similar to a speckled trout, is a 1.
Yeah, he tastes good.
Yeah, they do. They're about the same as a speckled trout.
Yeah, you need to eat them that day, right?
Well,
I like
that
to.
day or the next day.
Yeah, you bet. Unfrozen.
Unfrozen. Yeah, we don't
unfrozen.
eat any frozen fish over here unless it's dead of winter.
You betcha. Well, it's good to hear from you, Don. I was worried you might be sick or something, so good luck to you and Ross, and have a great turkey season and first part of spring, would you?
Yeah, he's into that heavy now, and I think he's killed a couple, so
I'll bet
he's
so.
about through for the year.
Yeah, he's a good one. Stay in touch, pal.
All right, partner. Take care of yourself.
You bet. I'll see you soon. There we go. All right, there we go. We've got, as soon as we come back, we'll have the radio prize package. Put your brain in gear. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside Radio, and we'll be back. Okay, we have the radio prize package headed your way. We'll get to that in just a moment. Let me list the prizes for you, and we want to express to all of our sponsors the generosity to make the radio prize package. We always want you to learn something and be rewarded for listening. That's why the radio prize package, the questions are very personal. It's about me or Gail or my family or where I live or what I do, because it's not just trivia. You will not know the answer unless you listen to this program. But before I get to that, one last tip about boating and the rods that you have rigged. Ready? This is a universal tip for boating. Alcohol and boat gas do not mix. Ever. Okay, that's enough. Radio show prize package. Telephone numbers are 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Those are the 2 numbers. You have to be 18 years old to win, and you cannot have won a radio prize package for the last, let's say the last 6 months. And the question is, my grandson, Travis Johnson, is a whitetail hunting guide in Texas, in the Panhandle. What guide service for whom does he work? What is the name of the guide service where Travis is a whitetail and wild turkey guide? I talked to him last night. They got 6 turkeys yesterday, and 3 guys missed. They get nervous when that turkey gets in front of them. Okay, there you are. The radio prize. You got a DNR magazine, a Big Green Egg koozie kit, an angler magazine, a Georgia State Parks guide, a can of Fisher's Choice baits, a HydroShot glass, an Arctic ice package, a package of True Turn hooks and baits, and a Real Tree cap, if you answer the question correctly. That is, what is the name of the guide service for which, I said whom, for which Travis works in Oklahoma? Tough question. Nobody gets it. I'll make one easier, but you can win if you answer that question. Okay. Let's stick with fishing for a few more moments if we can. There's the radio prize package. No callers? Oh, boy. The question's too tough? Well, there you are. I'm sorry. Here we go from, here's Wade. He's out getting a cup of coffee. What do you say, Wade? Oops.
I just mashed the button on my brand new Keurig coffee machine.
There you go. Good to hear from you, my good friend. How's the weather in Kentucky?
Very nice. Actually pleasant. All that rain, I had to cut grass Tuesday. We got home Monday night. I cut grass Tuesday, and again on Friday.
Okay, good for you. Well, it's nice to do.
Got my stuff planted.
It's nice to do something productive. It's about time.
Oh, guess what I've been doing?
Tell me.
Getting ahead of the gardening.
Boy.
Planted my green beans Tuesday morning when I got up, waiting on the dew to dry. I planted me a pot full of them in a black pot of potting soil, and they're 8 inches tall in 1 week's time.
Yeah.
That ain't even a week yet. Tuesday will be a week.
Yep.
And got my green beans going and got my cucumbers going.
It's quite a garden. Gail and I are planning.
I messed around and
go ahead.
Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
I'm just saying, Gail and I, that's our project this week, planting. It's going to rain here.
We got lucky. I went up to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got lucky and went up to Ace Hardware, and actually I put an application in and got a job on there. I'm going to be the helpful hardware man.
Well, there you are. You know what you're doing.
Just something to do, get out of the house, but they had their pot. Yeah, I wanted a little something to get me out of the house, make a little spending money instead of spending what I already got in the bank.
There you go. I like that. It's nice to be productive. You'll be a great asset to a hardware store.
Yeah, putting screens together. People bring their screens in to get rescreened, and they want grills put together and wheelbarrows. It's something to keep me busy.
Now, I'm doing that this week. I've got 3.
And to get to meet some people. I like meeting people.
Yeah. I've got 3 screens to replace myself. I just bought the screens and everything this week. I'm going to do that, too.
It ain't hard how you do 1 or 2. You need that little bitty roller to push that seal down in there on there, or
Correct.
You're fighting it.
Oh yeah, I've got 2 of them just in case I lose one, which I probably will. You bet.
Seeing a lot of turkeys in these fields up here around the Barren River.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear somebody say they're seeing a lot of birds.
Well, and the Three Springs Creek, the Three Springs is a little lake over here in a park.
Uh-huh.
And they put 2,500 trout in it in November and December. And then they put another 1,500 in it January.
Well.
They're about 10 inches long. They're good eating.
Oh, yeah.
But you're going to keep 5.
Yep. Well, that's good. Manage it. Manage the population.
Keep 5 of them, 4 catfish.
Uh-huh.
90% rainbows. A
Okay.
few browns are in there.
All right.
But they're 8 to 10 inches. They're stocked.
Okay.
They put them in there. But the one thing it does do, them big old 6-7 pound bass get real fat real quick.
Oh
in February and
man,
March.
absolutely. At Lake Lanier,
The trout won't live in that lake past probably April, May.
right? At Lake Lanier,
In April, May, they start finding them floating up.
At Lake Lanier, close to Atlanta here, that was one of the things that took the trout population out of the lake. That being, they put in stripers.
Yeah.
And they ate all the trout.
Yes, sir. Hey, I talked to my buddy Kyle. He went down below the dam the other day. I know maybe Hank the Yank can give me some insight on this. You know, I'm in Kentucky, been in St. Louis better part of a month. But I understand that on the right-hand side, go over the Cummins side, going down the river below the ramp.
Right.
I like to fish down there right before Jessup Creek. I understand that the bank collapsed and all the way down through there. All the big trees that was on the bank are now in the river.
But very well could be. I don't know. I hadn't heard a report on that.
Well, I found out Wednesday or Thursday. Kyle called to see what was going on with him. And he said, "You're going to be upset." I said, "Why?" He said, "Your fishing hole's buried in trees."
That's right, and it's full of trout.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, that's one of the best fishing places. Them browns are spawning. Well, I guess it was over in late February, early March. The
right,
they spawn in that river.
They spawn early. The German brown brought over here, my goodness, about 100 years ago. The only trout that's native to Georgia is the brook trout.
And boy, you talk about some pretty ones up there. Me and Greg caught all them up there at Dukes and Dix Creek.
Yep.
There's a little old hole up there at the very last place you cross through the water. Up above it's a big waterfall and a big hole. You talk about some pretty. They up to 6-7 inches long. They won't hit nothing but a cricket or a worm. But when you catch them, that's the prettiest little fish you'll ever see.
Oh, you bet. Yeah.
The little native brooks and that deep blue water.
Yes. Beautiful fish.
Me and Deanna took goggles and flins up there.
Oh, yeah.
And swam down in there and looked at them. Oh, my goodness, they're beautiful.
There are more of them in there than you thought, too, probably.
Yeah, it's a real big hole, too. It's about, I don't know, about 20 foot around, 20 foot across, about 12, 15 foot deep, but it's about 15-foot waterfall down into it.
I bet it's full. All right, my good friend, listen, have a great weekend. Be sure and stay in touch for next week. Next week is...
leave me on hold where I can listen. I know the answer, so I ain't going to give it away.
Okay.
I got my knife from that pest control. I got my knife in my...
Oh, you did?
From them.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you very much. I like that little knife.
Good. All right. I'll put you on hold, pal. All right, there we are. Is nobody answering the question, Corey? I'm talking to my engineer at WSB. All wrong answers?
No, yeah, they're not giving the full answers.
Okay. Well, we can't change it now, can we? Maybe I'll change it in a few minutes. So we'll give everybody a little bit more of a chance to call in. We're looking for the name of the guide service. What is it called that Travis works for in Texas? In Wheeler, Texas, is the headquarters of this guide service for white-tailed deer, turkeys, hogs, coyotes, ducks, geese, flying the cranes, everything. And so he's been out there now for 4 years, and he's loving every minute of it. So there you are. 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255 for you to participate in the radio prize package. If nobody gets it in a few minutes, Corey, we'll make a real easy question because I want somebody to get the prize package. We love giving away stuff. Again, the telephone numbers for the prize package and for you to reach O'Neill is 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255 on the East Coast of the United States. It goes all over. The Sports Map Radio Network and WSB with an audience right at 1 million people a week because... well, after all, we've been around a long time. You know what I mean? This is our...
All right, we have a winner.
We have a winner now, everyone. So I'm happy about that. And the clock's coming up on us, but we'll get to that winner. in just a moment and give away the radio prize package, and then we'll get back to fishing again. Remember, for emphasis, alcohol and boat gas don't mix. Ever. Is that emphatic enough? It should be. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside. You guys stay right there. We'll give something away when we get back. It's all welcome back, everyone. You're listening to O'Neill Outside Radio, #1 live outdoor-based radio talk show in the world, and we appreciate you joining us. And on the radio just now, we had the bumper music was Elvis Presley, which reminds me, and of course this show is all about me, of course. That reminds me that when I was a little kid, we lived in Tony Valley in DeKalb County, Georgia, and close by, within walking distance, was a place called Misty Waters Swimming Pool. And I used to work there when I was 11, 12 years old, and I was in what they call the pinball area, where they had pinball machines, and I sold candy bars and made change for people to use in the pinball machines. Little entrepreneur, I guess. Okay, the radio prize package has been won, but let's get to that. The question was, my grandson, Travis Johnson, is a whitetail and wild turkey guide in Texas. So let's talk now to Greg, calling from Rydell. Good morning, Greg.
Morning.
Hey there. How did you know that?
I knew it was something Creek Guide Service. I had to think about it a while.
Good for you. And the answer
I heard
is
it a few times.
And the answer is,
sir, it is Rush Creek Guide Service.
Rush Creek Guide Service, and they've got so many animals out there, and such a great percentage success. You have to make a reservation a year in advance.
Wow, I bet he's having fun.
Oh man, they took 6 turkeys yesterday.
Wow.
Isn't that something? 2 years ago they had 235 turkeys.
Wow.
But of course you understand, then I'll shut up, but you understand out there that's the Rio Grande. It's not
that's a different turkey.
It's not the Eastern. You know, the Eastern will just hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
The Rio Grande runs up to you and says, "Shoot me." Hey, here's my buddy standing next to me. Shoot him too.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, they're dumb as a post.
You need that after hunting out here a while.
Oh yeah, no kidding. All right, well, we have your information, and we'll send you the radio prize package. You'll get it in a week or two.
Thank you, O'Neill.
You bet. Thank you. Appreciate your participation in the show. All right, let's see. We've got what's my time? All right, 42. Let's talk to Craig. Is calling on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, Craig.
Hey, O'Neill.
What's going on?
Yeah, I got one of them. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, wait, I kept thinking, I wish somebody answered that question. I know one, so I can't answer it, but I know the question.
There you are.
Hey, listen.
Okay.
Fishing line.
Okay.
I watched one of your shows the other day, and you said, and well, I take that back. It was on your emails that I get, and it said fish as light as line as you can, and I do that with a small lure. What's the difference in green line, clear line? My brother-in-law uses green line. It looks like a high-vis suit you see on the DOT work site.
You know, Craig, it's what you're used to. I know some guys that use a yellow line so that they can watch the line to see if they get a bite that they don't feel. Everybody's got their own thing. For O'Neill, I use mono. I just think it's just obvious that your line needs to be clear. Now, a lot of these professional fishermen, they use braid. And you can feel the bite better with braid because it doesn't stretch. But to me, when I go fishing, I don't care whether I catch anything or not. So it's just up to you, pal. Whatever that. But you know, there's plenty of choices. You're right. I know a lot of guys in dark water, stained water, they'll use green.
Yeah.
But I use mono. What do you use?
What I use.
Mono?
I use mono.
Yeah.
I use about an 8-pound.
Yeah.
Just like you said about Davy Height that time about the braid line. I'm not good as he is to use that.
Well, very few people are.
He's a pro.
Oh, yeah.
All
and
right, brother.
You're talking about Davy. He's a pro, and he's a really nice fellow.
Yeah, I watched that video the other day you got on you. I go on there quite often. I travel a lot, but when y'all were fishing up at that, I can't remember that big old bass. It's just a private club.
Yeah,
Kingfisher.
Kingfisher.
Up in the Carolinas, I think.
Yeah, up in Laurel Hill, North Carolina. It's a place called the Kingfisher Society.
Kingfisher.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this before you go. The Kingfisher Society, in my experience, is the best bass fishing lake in the world. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But the first day I went there, I caught 40 over 5 pounds. Yeah, that's right.
Y'all caught a bunch of nice looking brims too, where you and Travis did one time.
Yeah, the lake record brim, bluegill now, not a hybrid. The lake record brim is 3.5 pounds. You imagine that?
I could imagine it in a fry pan.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll see you, man.
All right, man. Glad you called, pal.
All right. Bye.
You betcha. Glad you called. I always get a good call from Craig. There we go. Yeah, the place he's referring to is a place called the Kingfisher Society. And it is a lodge on a private lake of about 130 acres. And this lake is, let's see, how can I explain? Okay. This lake has, the water in it is very special. Just by accident. The lake is 170 years old. And it will never, a small lake, if you're a seasoned bass or a fisherman, a lake, as it gets older, unless you manage the fish population very tightly, it gets to be a lake with a bunch of little fish in it. All the bass are all 10 or 12 inches long, and you catch a big one every once in a while. Well, this lake, Kingfisher Society, look it up on the internet. It's very special because it's kind of like an aquarium. Whatever you do to it stays that way. And when the last time they drained it that I know of, about 15 years ago, they killed everything in it. They put in a lot of fish attractors, and then they filled it up with 2-pound largemouth. So the lake is so heavy with big bass, every time that there's a spawn, the big bass eat all the little bass. There are no little bass in there. I fished there maybe 10 times. Smallest bass I ever caught weighed 2 pounds. And the side benefit, and I think they have 21 feeders in the lake that shoots out big pellets for bass to eat. And the side benefit is the brim are gigantic. I went up there with my friend Ron Stallings, and we did a show there a few years ago, and the smallest brim we caught was a little over 1 pound. So it is. One day, if you'll look it up and make reservations for you and for your son, for you and a buddy, and you don't take your boat, they have a 20-foot bass boats there with electric motors. There's only 4 fishermen, 2 boats on the lake at a time. and it costs $1,000 a day to fish there. But that is, in my judgment, the best bass fishing lake in the world. It's called the Kingfisher Society, and it's private, very. And I was fortunate enough to get to fish there on many occasions, and hadn't been there in quite some time because, quite frankly, there's no challenge. If you just want to catch fish. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Let me tell you a story, and it's an illustration, I think, of the ingenuity and adaptability and intelligence of a professional bass fisherman. I have a good friend. His name is Clifford Kraft. He's getting up toward my age now, so he's not a professional fisherman any longer. But he was very successful. He fished in the Bassmasters Classic several times, and I think he finished second once in the Bassmasters Classic. Fabulous fisherman. And I asked him one time, because he had finished second in the Bassmasters Classic, I said, what did you do different that day when you were catching fish that moved you up in the standings enough that you finished second? And it's kind of funny. I know that this is a televised show, but I'm going to demonstrate. Sometimes if you're sharing a secret with someone, even if it's just the two people together, the person, the man, the woman that's sharing the secret, before he shares the secret, he'll look from side to side, okay? Clifford's secret that day was that he put 2 treble hooks on the end of his spinnerbait hook. And he said he caught 2 or 3 more bass that day that he would not have caught if it were not for putting those treble hooks on those spinnerbaits. And, of course, the only color, any color spinnerbait is fine as long as it's chartreuse. The bass are bedding. They're on the banks and lakes all over the country. A spinnerbait will catch your biggest bass this time of year. Not as many, but the biggest bass. And I was watching a video the other day, and it was a professional fisherman, a well-known professional fisherman and television show host, and I won't call his name because I'm going to call him into question right now. And he talked about what to use to catch a bedding bass. Use a lizard, use a crawfish imitation or a crawfish, or throw a minnow in there, and maybe you can catch the biggest bass off the bed. But be sure and put him back, or put her back. I'm telling you, it's my opinion, because that bass is bedding and easy and you can see her, leave that bass alone. Because once you catch it and put it back, many times, and I've had a biologist tell me this, fisheries biologist, many times, that female does not return to the bed. And other predators go in and they eat all of the seeds that she just laid. Consider that the next time you see a bedding bass. More outdoors, more fishing, more hunting when we get back. This is O'Neill. In case you just joined us, this is the conclusion of the first hour of O'Neill Outside. If you joined us on purpose or a mistake, this is O'Neill Outside. We broadcast every Saturday morning, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. live from a little log cabin high in the Georgia mountains near Amicalola Falls State Park, next to the wildlife management area. And this looks like a snake den down here of all the wires and everything. And my engineer, who's listening to me right now in Peachtree City, Georgia, resents that completely. But it is a mess. But I was listening for a reaction. Okay, Yeah, there you go. I heard her. All right. All right. A couple of more tips about fishing. Then we're going to get to turkey hunting in the next hour and your calls. Here's a great tip for fishing with a little kid, okay? Little children's hands get tired when they're fishing, okay? Get some medical gloves, okay? The real thin, I guess, with the plastic gloves. If you put gloves on a child, she or he doesn't have to hold the reel so hard. And when you're using a crankbait, if you'll use a glove to hold the reel, your hand will last and you won't get so tired of holding the reel so long. Gloves work. Yes, indeed they do. Now, secondly, whatever, the book O'Neill Outside, which was on display at Beaver Toyota as a contribution to the Children's Fishing Classic at Lanier, just in case, the book is sold out. But you can get, where's the book? You can get the book. It's called O'Neill Outside. It'll be, there you are. It's called O'Neill Outside. People and Places Along the Way. You can buy it off my website, homepage, or Amazon. And it's got all 5-star reviews. And if you buy it from my website, I will sign it for you. Well, I didn't sign that one. That's the last one I have. Okay, another hour of outdoors headed your way. I've got a lot of tips and so forth, and I'll await your calls. This is O'Neill Outside. Another hour of headed your way, and I'm going to go get coffee. Enjoy.
Works Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. Works Power and Garden Tools. CVA muzzle loaders. It's just a better gun. Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings. True Turn Hooks, hook more fish. Furminator, the best food plot implements on earth. Roadrunner Lures. Roadrunner equals more fish. Arctic Ice, the most durable and versatile cooler packs. Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, state parks, and historic sites.
Good morning, everyone, from Three Falls Cabin, the Lean-To Lodge, and the Bojangles Studio. Welcome to Works Radio. This is O'Neill Outside on an unused Saturday morning, and we're talking turkey hunting and fishing for the next hour, and we invite your calls. I would like to know, in the next hour, if you have a chance to call, what's the biggest bass you ever caught? It's time to catch largemouth. What's the biggest bass you ever caught? And if you're a saltwater guy, what's the biggest fish you ever caught in saltwater? Okay, the sponsors of this program every Saturday morning, they're extremely important and good friends too. Arctic Ice, All Exterminating, Beaver Toyota, Mark Hurd Fuel, Big Green Egg, Smokers and Grills, Tough Shed, Gin Spring Power Generators, Fisher's Choice Baits, True Turn Hooks, and Roadrunner Lures, Georgia Department of Natural Resources, Snellville Heating, Air, and Plumbing, Stripling's General Store, and, of course, Works Tools. Telephone numbers, if you'd like to join us, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. I have some tips for you with regards turkey hunting. Ones you've heard from me before, but let's face it, fishing and hunting and outdoors really doesn't change very much. So the tips gleaned from 40 or 50 years of fishing and ones from the same amount of time turkey hunting apply. So take them, use them, or not, or develop your own strategies. But there's some strategies I've learned from the many dozens of guides and outstanding fishermen that I know that will work, do work, have worked, and will continue to work, fishing and hunting and all that. And I'm privileged to pass them along to you. But I do want to know the biggest bass you ever caught and the largest saltwater fish you ever caught. And I will restrain myself and not tell you my largest bass and largest saltwater fish, just because Gail says I talk too much. We'll be back. Okay, welcome back. 12 after the hour. This is O'Neill in the second hour of O'Neill Outside on this Saturday morning on April the 10th. It's springtime. It's time to go fishing. Right now, however, let's talk to Mac is calling on line number 2. Good morning, Mac. What do you say?
Good morning, O'Neill. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Well, that's great. Well, how's fishing on the big waters across the South?
Well, it's been good. Last week, most of our lakes have really fished well all winter, and we had a mild winter. But last week, we went to a new place when the water spiked up into the 60s or higher, depending on the reservoir. But it really ramped up last week, and we saw things go into hyper mode. So it's good. And if you're not fishing, you need to stop what you're doing and go fishing now, because it's on wherever you're at.
Whether you're in Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, or Georgia, you need to go, right?
Yeah, we're issuing a stop work order. Get out there and get on the lake. So it was amazing this week. And we're starting to get a lot of top water, a lot of fish in really shallow water. So it's that time of year. And Lanier, particularly, with us being a spotted bass lake, we don't catch a lot of fish shallow. Well, shallow is a very relative term on Lanier and other spotted bass lakes. But right now is the beginning, the one time of year you can go out there, put your boat in pretty much wherever you want to, drop your trolling motor and start going down the bank, and you can probably catch them.
There you go. I like that. Let's see, was spotted bass spawns at what, 8 feet, 10?
As deep as 20, that's probably exceptional, but most times it's probably 6 to 8, 6 to 12, somewhere in there.
Okay, so you don't see spotted bass spawning like you do largemouth.
Nothing like you do largemouth. You could if you look for them. It's totally different. You got to have good water. You got to have the right conditions, like midday when the sun's up, and you got to kind of get on top of them. You can go down a bank, you can see them, but it's hard there because a lot of times you just catch a glimpse of one turning on its side. But no, it's not like a big mouth where he'll be up in a cove and 18 inches of water, and you can easily see him. Nothing like that.
Yes, indeed.
Very different.
Well, it's the application of your tip has right now from northern Mississippi and Alabama throughout Tennessee, North and South Carolina, Georgia, and maybe even North Florida. I guess they're probably done in North Florida.
Most of them probably are.
Yeah.
But, it's just really wide open, and all the places you mentioned, they're just getting started. We're pretty far into it here, but when you go north, so, yeah, it's got a very big application.
You betcha.
Big physical area.
You betcha. Do you use clear line, green line, brown line? What do you use on your reels to catch the most fish that you can for your guide trips?
That's a really good question. That's a good way to spark a really good debate. If you get a room full of fishermen. But I on Lanier, I really like a lot of greens. I feel like they just blend in with the water real well, but I know plenty of guys that catch them with clear, even fluorescent line. But if I had to choose, I like a dark green.
Okay.
So
all right.
I've always felt like on our lake that just really matches up well. So I think it's a little harder for them to see it. And I do use a lot of fluorocarbon. And I think more importantly, I'm more worried about dropping down. I think the smaller diameter lines are more beneficial than color, quite honestly.
Yes. What's the biggest bass you've ever caught personally?
Biggest one I've ever caught was 10-2, and I caught him in Oconee.
Oh, man.
Decades ago.
10-2 out of Oconee. Good grief.
Yeah. That's back when really Oconee was really coming into its own, and that lake was so prolific when it first backed up.
Oh, they all are. Excuse me, but they all are the first 3 or 4 years, aren't they?
Oh yeah, everything is just so vibrant and it's growing. And I don't think a lot of lakes and species have recognized their carrying capacity. And there's lots of fish. So yeah, if you ever are fortunate enough to fish an impoundment in its early formative years, that's a pretty good experience. And I was lucky enough to have that happen at Oconee. And another one that was really dynamic, a lot of people don't know about it, you will, under the radar, is Lake Juliet.
Yes. Yes.
When they first backed that up, that was incredible.
Well, you can kind of get your arms around Juliet.
Yeah, it's a big lake, but it compared to a lot of our big reservoirs, it's small, and it's very manageable. And we were lucky enough they backed that up, and we were able to fish it quite a bit in those first 3. And it's still a great lake. Don't get me wrong. It's a very prolific lake. But like you said, all the new ones. And that one wasn't getting a lot of fishing pressure. The joke was down there, it was not what are they biting, it's what do you want to catch them with.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We tied that on, and they would bite it. Because we had a bunch of young fish that had never seen that stuff. So they were pretty stupid.
Good point. What's the biggest saltwater fish you ever caught?
Goliath grouper, about 450.
Whew.
Yeah, my arm still hurt thinking about
it. Now that's not 4.5 pounds. That's 450 pounds.
Yeah, let's get the decimal in the right place. 450 pounds.
Oh Lord!
I'll never forget it, O'Neill. It was big. Its mouth was big enough I could have crawled into it. And I remember when he got up there, we got him up the side of the boat. His eye was as big as a dinner plate. And I called him. Here's the crazy thing: I wasn't fishing for him.
Oh!
I called him with an amberjack that I had hooked, and he ate by amberjack.
Oh!
And that was pretty impressive in itself. But that's quite a predator. It's an incredible beast.
Man, oh man, 400. What's the limit on? I mean, what's the size? The biggest of those ever caught, probably 700.
Yeah. I think yes, and of course now they're federally protected, so nobody can take one and harvest it and weigh it.
Right.
Back in the day, they were hunted by. They were very docile fish, and they'll get inshore in southern Florida, and so they were a nice target for spear fishermen that speared them and sold them. But I think there's been several that would have been well over 600. They get pretty big.
My goodness. Okay.
Like a car.
There's a Volkswagen down there. I saw it swim by.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable though. It's just what a beast. That was I'll never ever forget that. Of course, it like to kill me.
I'll bet.
Don't know if I will catch any more.
No, I'll pass on that. I know.
But that's one. That was one off the bucket list. I don't know if we need to go there anymore or not.
I have never caught. Well, I caught a shark. I think it was a bull shark off the Georgia coast. I think it weighed 250.
Well, that's the same thing. That's that'll make you catch that. That'll make you sit down and take a break.
And it was pouring down rain. A hurricane was headed up the coast.
Well, that's good. That kept you from overheating because you had to fight him out that rain.
That's exactly right. All right, Mac.
You just got dehydrated.
Have you got any open dates you want to tell anybody to call you?
Yeah, well, we've got not much in April, but we got plenty of good fishing in May and June and July.
Okay,
so
all right.
We're just getting started. We're not done by any stretch.
All right,
call.
CaptainMax.com, huh?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for calling, Mac. We always learn something.
Everybody have a great weekend. Go fish and be safe.
You too. See you later, pal. There we go. That's good. That's we learned something from Mac. 450 pounds. I can't imagine that when I caught that shark, I was almost sorry for it. I caught him, but and he was released. But I'm thinking, why did I do that? It was I was fishing with Jimmy Johnson off the Georgia coast with a guide because I didn't know where they were, and he took me to a shark hole that he knew of. I think it was just off the bank there at Fort Frederica in I think it's the Altamaha River. right there, and it's a shark hole, and it was before a hurricane was headed in, and regrettably I dropped the bait down, and that guy ate it. And, oh, my goodness. Yeah, it was a good thing. As Max said, it was a good thing it was raining. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. You're watching and listening to O'Neill Outside, Saturday mornings, 4 to 6 a.m., WSB Radio and the Sports Map Radio Network nationwide. And, Paul, hold on. We'll get to you when we get back, along with the Who Is This segment, and you can win something, so stay right there. You're listening to O'Neill Outside, Saturday mornings, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., all outdoors, no politics. Sound refreshing? It is to me. And now, because he's holding on quite a while, let's talk to Paul, calling from Brookhaven. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. Got some questions for you this morning.
Good. Love to hear it.
I wanted to know, first and foremost, how you're coming with your audio book.
Okay. I am progressing. However,
awesome.
I now write, I don't know how I got into this, but I'm enjoying it. I got into writing newspaper columns, and I have columns in 9 newspapers.
Not bad. Not bad.
And interested in expanding on that. But, all right, what's your second question?
Next question is, I understand that in Georgia, I don't know if you can fill me in on this or not, but we'll give it a whirl. I understand that in Georgia, that if you are disabled, you can get a hunting or fishing license, whatever it is, for free. My question is that a one-time thing, or do you have to renew it, or
it would be according to your age. If you're over 60, you can get a lifetime. But you can purchase, disabled or otherwise, you can purchase a lifetime license. But more directly to your question about disability license, yes, you'll have to do that every year, to my knowledge. I think. Okay. Because you can be disabled one year and not the next. Can you not hear me, Paul?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. Now you're good.
Okay.
I'm not. I wasn't clear on that, and I got the one I have back in the early '90s or something, and never really.
It may still be good.
Didn't do anything with it. And,
I'm no expert on that,
I'm wondering how.
I'm guessing at that, but you can certainly find out exactly by visiting the Department of Natural Resources website on the internet. It's very, very well done, up to date, always changing, always informing website. The Department of Natural Resources in Georgia.
Okay, that's where I would go to get that done.
Yes. It'd be very self-explanatory.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be. Well, how's life in Brookhaven?
Okay. It's getting interesting. Things are getting interesting around here. It's starting to warm up. And they're doing a lot of building around here where I live, which means the traffic is starting to increase. Boy, don't you look forward to that. Anyway, yeah, it's I'm definitely looking for somewhere to go this year where I can have a little getaway for a while, because I'll tell you what, I need to get out of here for a while.
Yeah. Try driving. Try driving up 400 toward Dahlonega and into the North Georgia mountains on a Friday afternoon. The traffic will be backed up for miles.
I don't know if they serve. I don't know if they serve margaritas on that run or not. But I tell you what,
they probably do.
I know, right?
Yes. Give it a try and find out.
I know, right?
Yeah, you bet.
That's one way to get the old blood pressure up if it's too low.
There you are. There you go. I'm glad you called, Paul. I always look forward to your call.
All right, and look forward to hearing more about that book now.
Oh, I'm going to proceed, I promise. See you later.
Right.
See you later, pal. There we go. Now, hey, oh my goodness, here my substitute host is calling today, Scott Maxim. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning.
What do you say? What are you doing up so early?
How are you? Oh, I don't know. Just kind of sitting here behind the computer, catching up on a little sports, making my plans for the day, which includes
going
to try me a little bullet loading today, boss.
Oh, good for you.
Got to be time. Yeah, I think it's time to start experimenting with building some bullets of my own. So I bought some gear here, and we're going to get cracking on that this weekend.
Now, good for you. How many do you plan to make once you become proficient?
Well, as many as my arm will allow me to crank out.
Okay, there you are.
But I think for this first run, we're going to try just a little experiment here. This is when you're building the bullets, you have to be conscious of different bullet sizes, whether they're hollow points or whether they're round nose, charges for your powder and all that stuff. So I'm going to do an initial run of about 200 bullets, kind of make sure that I've got the correct seating of the bullet in the cartridge, make sure everything's right, and once that 200 is done, then we'll start experimenting from there.
Oh, I'd love to give them a try. We'll get together.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? I'll tell you what. We can run some up and try some out up at that Appalachian gun range one day and see what you think.
Good idea. They got a great gun range there. Terrific. Good idea. Great idea.
No question. But the real reason I'm starting to get into this now is, of course, the ammo shortage. It's just really difficult to find bullets these days, and it's even very difficult to find components. But you can get lucky with certain calibers out there. So just want to let folks know, if you're feeling the bite, maybe the idea is to go out and get a reloading press and learn how to make your own.
There you are. I can't wait to give them a try, pal.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to myself. So as soon as we crank out that first 200, I'll give you a holler. We'll run them up, and we can run through some of my toys. How's that?
Good deal. It's a deal. Thanks for calling, pal.
Outstanding, man. Outstanding.
See you later. There we go. All right, now, well, let's, at 32 after the hour, we're a little late with it. Let's do the Who Is This segment of the program. It's sponsored by All Exterminating, and the prizes you could win for the first correct caller to 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255 will win from All Exterminating, an All Exterminating hat. I think there's a knife in there, a $50 coupon for insect and termite and all that inspection, and a whole laundry list of other goods that you'll find use for. It's trinkets and clippers and knives and pliers and all kinds of stuff. It's a whole box full of stuff that you'll keep forever. Tell me who this is. In the early 1960s, he was a Major League Baseball prospect who read about trout fishing on the Arkansas River, and after taking a float trip with Ranger boat founder Forrest Wood, he decided to give up the bat and handle the rod. He became a guide and soon after started fishing reports on a local news show, which quickly germinated into a show called The Fishing Hole. From its beginning in 1963 through 1970, he fought to take them and keep the show national level, which was a struggle before cable. He wasn't a fly tying elite. He wasn't a smallmouth or a saltwater elite. He was a plain old angler. He fished for smallmouth as well as trout and crappie, and he showed trout being caught with spinning rods and not fly guys, which is fine. He died when he was 82 years old in 2019. Who is this? 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. A great package of goods from All Exterminating. And the All Exterminating guy came out this week and sprayed my log house to keep out the carpenter bees, because I'm too old to try to swat them. One summer, when I was younger, we got a really kick out of swatting the carpenter bees, and I kept a record of it, typically O'Neill. And we killed 211 carpenter bees with a tennis racket. I used to be good enough to do it with a badminton racket, but I couldn't do it after that. So, all right, there's a lot of calls coming in, and when we get an answer, I'm sure somebody will get that rather easily, because everybody knew this guy, but he died when he was 82 years old in 2019. Evidently, we do have a winner, do we not, Corey?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we have a winner for that question for the Who Is This, brought to you by All Exterminating. So, are you enjoying the show this morning? We're handling some good stuff. I've got a minute now, and I want to give you the number one tip to make you more successful as a turkey hunter. Whether you're in Georgia for the eastern or all up the East Coast, Florida for the Osceola, or for the out west for the Rio. Ready? Sight in your shotgun. Sight in your shotgun. A wounded turkey is food for wildcats. Sight in your shotgun. So when you pull the trigger, you will have harvested a turkey. Turkey population is down, and we're going to, for next year, I guarantee you there will be some changes in regulations and limits and shorten the season. We're having an effect. Okay, we've got the winner. We'll get to him just as soon as we get back. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside, Saturday mornings, 4 to 6 a.m. on WSB and the Sports Map Radio Network. I'm getting a kick out of this. I hope you are too. We'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. Let's give away something. The Who Is This winner? What do you think? I'm not going to read that again, but he was a television host of one of the very first shows, television fishing shows. It was called The Fishing Hole, and he recently passed away. So let's give away something from All Exterminating by talking to Richard. Oops, wrong button. Well, let's talk to Richard. Good morning, Richard.
Hey, good morning.
Well, who is this that I read about?
Jerry McInnes.
Yes, he was one of the greatest, wasn't he?
Awesome fella. I got an opportunity to meet him several years ago at a boat show. Really friendly, but seemed like just a good all-around fella, you know.
And he was. He was just Jerry.
You know, O'Neill, he's like you and Captain Mac. Y'all good boys. Y'all friendly. Y'all have always been nice to me when I spoke with you. I met you about 40 years ago over at the Promised Land Grocery getting gas one time back in the 80s.
Oh, how about
your boat?
How about that? How about that?
And you was as nice then as you are to me now.
Hey, there you go. Well, you know something, Richard, this is not important. That's why it's easy to be nice. I mean, if you start getting chest pains, you're not going to call me. You're going to call somebody that can help you, a doctor, a nurse. You're going to call a policeman if you need one. You smell smoke at night, you're going to call a firefighter. You're not going to call some knucklehead fishing show.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, when you meet people in life that reciprocate, when you're friendly to them and they come back to you in a nice way, and you try to you treat people like you want to be treated. That's what life's all about, and you have to. That's what we need more of that today.
You bet. I'm glad you're a winner, and we have your information, I presume, and we'll get your prize package to you in a week or so.
Okay, don't forget about that 9.5-pound bass I caught about 30 years ago on Lanier.
A 9.5. Wow.
Yeah, the salt water, probably 10-pound cobia. I'm not a deep sea fisherman. But, Lanier is my largest largemouth. I've never had an opportunity to go get them peacock bass, but one day that's my dream, to go somewhere where they get those in South Florida.
Good for you. That's a great target, and he's a good fish. He's dumb as a post. You'll catch them all.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate your participation in the program. That's good, and we got a compliment out of that, and I'm always grateful. 43 after the hour, a couple of things. On Facebook, live on Facebook at 6:30 p.m. every Monday afternoon, we get to visit live. And we have a contest in that show in which we give away a Works reciprocating saw. So join us at 6:30 on Monday afternoon, Monday evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. It's a live broadcast at O'Neill Outside Facebook page. And we can share our lives that we created over the weekend. What do you think of that? That's what fishing is all about, isn't it? Number 2, the book that I've been telling you about, O'Neill Outside, People and Places Along the Way, that was on display at Beaver Toyota in Cumming, is all gone. It's sold out. So you can purchase O'Neill Outside at o'neilloutside.com, right on the home page, or on Amazon. It's selling well. It gets nothing but 5-star reviews. And if you just want a book about fishing, not instruction, it's about the people and places along the way. And I think you'll enjoy it. All right, what else? Okay, when is the best time to go turkey hunting? Well, anytime you can go, of course. When is the best time for you to harvest a bird? In the morning. Okay, we're doing good so far. What time of the year? Ooh, that makes a difference, doesn't it? Later in the season is the best time for you to turkey hunt. Eastern, Rio, all of those birds, Osceolas, everything, late in the season. Why is that? Because then a great number, if not all, of the hens go to the nest after they fly down. They aren't interested in the gobbler. He serves no purpose. And as the case is so often, if the female doesn't need you, she discards you. So he's lonesome. He's looking for companionship. And if you'll just cluck and yelp softly, enticingly, and not seem too anxious, maybe he'll come and visit. I think whether it's in Alabama or the Carolina, wherever the eastern wild turkey or the Rio lives, the Osceola in Florida, late in the season, your chances are much better that he will come to you instead of you having to chase him down. Okay? All right, let me get ready, Corey, and let's proceed with, if I can find it here in my notes, let's proceed, Corey, with the Medal of Honor.
Honor, courage, and strength of character. These qualities are embodied by the recipients of the Medal of Honor. Now let's recognize this week's Medal of Honor recipient on O'Neill Outside.
Frederick W. Castle, Brigadier General, World War II, December the 24th, 1944, Germany. He was the air commander and leader of more than 2,000 heavy bombers in a strike against German airfields in December of 1944. En route to the target, the failure of one engine forced him to relinquish his place at the head of the formation. In order not to endanger friendly troops on the ground below, he refused to jettison his bombs to increase speed and maneuverability. His lagging, unescorted aircraft became the target of numerous enemy fighters, which ripped the left wing with cannon shells, set the oxygen system afire, and wounded 2 members of his crew. The repeated attacks started fires in 2 engines, leaving the flying fortress in imminent danger of exploding. Realizing the hopelessness of the situation, the bailout order was given. Without regard for his personal safety, he gallantly remained alone at the controls to afford all other crew members an opportunity to escape. Still, another attack exploded the gasoline tanks on the right wing, and the bomber plunged earthward, carrying General Castle to his death. His willing sacrifice of his life to save the members of his crew were in keeping with the highest traditions of the military service. Brigadier General Castle died that day. He was 36 years old. It's 49 minutes after the hour. You're listening to and watching O'Neill Outside, 4 to 6 a.m. on WSB and the Sports Map Radio Network. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255 are the numbers. We heard from a couple of guys. We had a guy called a 10-2 largemouth, a 450-pound Goliath grouper out of Saltwater. Another guy caught a 9-pound, 2-ounce largemouth out of Lanier. I'd like to know about your biggest fish. You know what the Lake Lanier record is? Do you know that? 18-pound largemouth. Wow. The world's record largemouth bass was caught in Georgia, okay, at Lake Montgomery in Georgia, a lake that doesn't exist anymore because the Okmulgee River has taken that lake over. It was caught in 1932 by a fellow by the name of George Perry, and the fish weighed 22 pounds and 4 ounces, I believe. It's not in front of me. 22 pounds and 4 ounces since 1932. That record was matched about 4 years ago with a largemouth bass caught in Japan on live bait, and it matched the world's record with certified scales. So, world record was matched. Good for him. I think the fish was put back. If you catch a giant largemouth, take photos, measurements, and put it back and have a fiberglass mount. All of my mounts in my office, and I'll show them to you next Monday afternoon, 6:30 at O'Neill Outside Facebook page. I'll show you again the mounts that I have in my trophy room. They're all fiberglass mounts. Why fiberglass? They last much, much longer. These mounts in this room are all fiberglass, and they look the same that they did the day that I got them, and that was at least 10 years ago or more. 10 years ago. So, with that in mind, get fiberglass mounts, take lots of photos. My largest weighed 12 pounds, and I caught him in a very special lake. A lake, listen to this is unusual. A lake a freshwater lake on an island off the coast of Georgia in salt water. The island is in salt water. The lake was freshwater. Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and start our conversation with, let me get to it. We'll carry her through the break. And Donna is calling on O'Neill Outside. Good morning, Donna.
Good morning. I just want to say to you, O'Neill, that I listened to the story about the ball player whose life was changed and went in the direction of fishing. One of the things that I have come to understand about what you do on your show is that you encourage and hand down old skills that are not dependent on technology, although I see ads on TV that say you want to fish, have a computer and catch it here.
Yeah.
I just think that our society, I'm a big admirer of the World War II generation.
Yes.
And how it seemed that it was a very common thing for people to know how to fix problems, whether it was mechanical or people just knew how to do things.
Yes, they did.
And one of the things that I think that you do that's rare is you pass along these skill sets, O'Neill. I think it's a fabulous thing that you do.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It came to my mind when I was listening to the story of how going fishing can change a person's life. We don't need to rely on tech. We need people who can function without technology.
Do things.
That's one of the things that this show does, and I just wanted to point that out.
You're very, very kind, and I'm flattered that you feel that way. I'm very flattered.
Look at your show. Look at your show. Listen to the people that call in. I mean, I'm a non-fisherman, and I just listen, and I think, he's passing down these old-timey skills. This is fabulous.
Absolutely. Donna, I got to go. I'm glad you called, darling.
Have a good weekend.
You
Bye.
too. See you soon. This is O'Neill. I'll be back. Well, welcome back, everyone. Are you going fishing today? It's going to rain. That's why they make rain suits and rain boots. It won't be a cold rain. Might be a terrific time to get some shallow fish. Fish don't care if it's raining. If there's a cloud cover, they're there ever more shallow. One of the things that we handled in the first part of the program I'm going to get to quickly is when you're fishing these big reservoirs all over the country, and I got this from professional fishermen. Okay, there's 6 rods that need to be rigged in the boat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rods that need to be rigged in the boat. A rod to cast a long distance with a spoon or a bucktail. 2 different color worms, a spinnerbait and a stick bait, ready in the boat, so that if the opportunity presents itself, you can grab them and work it. You don't need to be rigging while you're in the boat. One of the things I didn't get to, unless you're catching them fast, okay, when you catch a bass, or anything else for that matter, retie the knot. Because you can't tell by feeling of it how the line might be damaged and the knot might be damaged. Every time you catch a fish, unless there's something else right in front of you that you need to make another cast, retie that knot. Freshen it. Does that mean you catch 50 instead of 5? No, but it might keep the biggest bass, spotted, largemouth, striper, hybrid, crappie. It may be the biggest one that you've ever caught. It's the little things that make a difference. Now, if you go to the lake and it doesn't matter whether you catch any or not, that's fine too. If it has to be a productive trip, then the little tips will help. So I want to pass along a couple of things to you. Number 1, the business of life is the acquisition of memories. Go get yours today. Then, if you're too busy to go fishing and take a child along, you're too busy. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for calling.
I once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio. O'Neill, O'Neill, O'Neill Outside.